It's the Bobby Mo Show, your favorite podcast, all about the Robert Morris University Colonials, and I'm the voice of the Colonials, Chris Shovlin. Glad to have you aboard. Today's Bobby Mo Show is presented by Dollar Energy Fund, and our guest today will be Scott Schneider, who worked his way up through the coaching ranks of the women's basketball team here at Robert Morris University. Right now, he is the associate head coach, but he is serving as the acting head coach in the absence of Charlie Biscaglia. We'll talk to Scott coming up next right here on the Bobby Mo Show. This winter, many families in our area are struggling to make ends meet and keep their homes warm. You can make a difference by making a donation to Dollar Energy Fund. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar by Dollar Energy Fund's utility partners, and 100% of all donations will be used to help local families maintain or restore basic utility services. No one should have to face a Pittsburgh winter in the cold. Help spread the warmth to your neighbors in need and donate today at dollarenergy.org. Dollar Energy Fund, helping our neighbors in need maintain basic utility service since 1983. Visit dollarenergy.org or text WARM, that's W-A-R-M, to 53555. That's the word WARM to 53555. Dollar Energy Fund presents the Bobby Mo Show, and we have a special edition here today because Scott Schneider is here with us. We're going to talk about Robert Morris University women's basketball. Scott, you had to jump in really at a moment's notice to take over the head coaching reins with the illness of Charlie Biscaglia, and we talked to Charlie before the season started, and he sounded so chipper and upbeat. And first and foremost, how is he doing, and can we get him back anytime soon?
Well, we're hoping to have him back soon. He's hanging in there. He's working with his doctors, his team of doctors, and hopefully he'll get that go-ahead sometime soon to rejoin the team. And until then, I'm doing my best to make sure our team stays in the culture that we've built here in this program and continuing to move forward with what we've put in place.
Well, if there is a good thing, it's that you've been here practically forever. I mean, you've been here for a long time now. You're in, your 8th season, and again, as an assistant coach, your 12th season overall. So you've been part of this program literally from the ground up as a grad assistant, an assistant coach, and now an associate head coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, and it's a great experience to know where we've come from, know the history and the tradition that we've built here, and be able to instill that in our team. And hopefully, it's different not having Coach B here, but able to keep that culture that we've built and remain with who we are and instill that into our young team that we have and see them grow day by day is an exciting thing.
Coach, we'll talk more about the team right now and where they are and what's going on in the schedule coming up in a little bit. But I was absolutely astounded to see your basketball playing career and what it became, literally starting in Great Bend, Kansas in high school, where you won back-to-back state championships in 2005 and 2006. Those were the first state titles in the school's history, and you were on that team. Let's talk about the experience of not only playing high school basketball, but getting to the penultimate, winning the state championship in Kansas, of all places.
Oh, yeah. It really laid the foundation for me. Basketball in Kansas is the main sport. It's something that everyone's excited about. So to do that and to do it at our school, it's something that I still remember. And I was lucky enough to have great coaches that really instilled that love of basketball at a young age for me and teach me how to play it at a good level and a quality level. And it's something that's remained with me all the way through into coaching. And I try to be that for our players as well, too, and teach them not just the game of basketball, but how to truly put themselves into their sport and love what they do.
You were an all-state player yourself.
I was.
Let's get away from the team for a second. Let's talk about your personal records. Obviously, first-team all-state selection. You led the Panthers to a 45-5 record over those 2 campaigns. I know you hate to lose, but 45 wins in those 2 years and being named all-state had to be a big feather in your cap and a big thrill for you personally.
It was. My dad was the one that took me to the gym a lot when I was growing up and instilled that work ethic. And if you only go to the team practices and never put the time and effort in outside of that, you're never going to reach that level of success. So I was actually someone who lived it firsthand, he instilled that work ethic in me from, I still remember in the 3rd grade going to the gym after school from 3:30 to 5 o'clock every single day, rain, snow, sunshine every day. And, some of those days had not as much joy as you would expect, but that's that behind the scenes that gives you that opportunity to attain the success that people see when they come to your games.
Is your dad a basketball guy?
He loves basketball.
Is he a coach or a player or anything?
No. He just instilled that love of basketball when I was young. Took me to a ton of different games. I got to see a bunch of different schools play, and it's something that he sacrificed a lot when I was growing up to take me all over to the tournaments, and it's something I still get the phone calls after every game we play now talking about how we did and what we're doing.
That's fantastic. That's what it's all about. I don't know what part of the state of Kansas Great Bend is in. Maybe you can tell me that, but did you grow up a Jayhawks fan or a Kansas State fan or somebody else?
Oh, I was a Jayhawk fan growing up, so I was in the dead center of the state, very rural area, so it was something to where not a lot of traffic, not a lot of cars. I always joked with people if a car drove by my house growing up, it was an exciting day for us. So it was that small of a place, and now to be out here in Pittsburgh where there's action going on everywhere, it's a full circle experience.
Let's talk about your college days because you played at a couple of different places. Central Christian College in Kansas as a junior, and you were an academic All-American, NCCAA academic All-American in 2009. Prior to that, it was Barton County Community College, which is also in Kansas, and your team did pretty well there too. So let's talk about your college playing experience.
Yeah, Barton County, we were a top 5 junior college both years that I was there. It was a very high-level experience. I really learned how to play at a different level at that experience. I endured those freshman struggles when you go to college and you think that you're the superstar, and then you get humbled and put back onto another level, and it's something that helped me grow and mature in my ability. And then Central Christian was an amazing experience for me.
Sure.
It helped me grow in my faith, and something that really brought that whole picture together. And both schools had amazing coaches, and it really grew from my high school level through college, and a lot of great memories at both places.
You ended up graduating magna cum laude from Robert Morris in 2011, Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration, and then you got your master's as well in organizational leadership in 2014. But during that time, you're also coaching basketball, and you started out your coaching career at Wheeling Jesuit right down the road.
Mm-hmm. It was a great experience to work at a D2 level. See it from the ground up. We were part of a brand new coaching staff, and within 3 years, they actually won the conference championship with the players that we had brought in. So it was exciting to see what it was like to take over a new program, even as a grad assistant, instill that culture and suffer those struggles and really see what it's like to kind of build from ground up. And it's an experience that, luckily we haven't had to do here at Robert Morris, but it's something that gives you that idea of what it's like when you are learning through those rough patches.
Scott Schneider is my guest here on the Bobby Moe Show. I'm Chris Shovlin. We're talking, we're talking about Scott right now, but we're going to be talking about Robert Morris women's basketball coming up in just a little bit. And speaking of which, you joined the women's program here at Robert Morris as a grad assistant, and then you matriculated up through the ranks, and right now you're serving as the acting head women's basketball coach here. Let's talk about the progression from coming in at that low level and moving all the way to the top, serving as the associate head coach to Charlie Biscaglia.
Yeah, I never pictured it would come all the way to this level. I always just came in with a mindset to do what was asked of me within this program, and it's been something that the one thing I always focus on is whatever task is in front of me, giving it 100%. And putting my name to something that I know I've done my best. I never want to do a halfway effort, and it's all the way from when I was filling up water bottles as a GA, all the way through now presenting film to our team, prepping them for everything that comes their way in life. And that's one thing that it really values me, to not just see our student athletes succeed on the court, but to see them succeed in life. And that's the value that we instill. And a lot of what we do is not the words that we do, but they see the actions that we do, and that's what I value the most.
What's the biggest difference from being an assistant or an associate head coach to being the head coach? I mean, there's got to be some change of attitude, I would think.
The biggest thing is as an assistant coach, you get the opportunity to give ideas, and then when your ideas aren't selected, or they are, you don't have that weight associated with them. And then when you're the head coach and you make that final say and you make that decision, you think it'd come a little bit easier, but it does weigh on you a little bit more, and you have to really think deep down. So even though it's a foot difference from the seat of an assistant coach to the head coach on a bench, it is a mile apart in decision making. That's the biggest growth change that I've noticed in that extent, and it's something I've had to learn quickly through.
The buck stops right there.
It does.
In other words, and that's the true meaning of that, no question about it. The Colonial women's team is 9-12 right now, 7-9 in the Horizon League. I know how tough the Horizon League is. It's been a big leap for the university as a whole, the athletic program as a whole, moving from the Northeast Conference to the Horizon League. Let's talk about the leap that the women's program has had to take.
Yeah, just last year alone in the Horizon League, we had 4 teams in the top 80, and Wright State ended up winning our conference last year, and they went down to Arkansas and won the first round of the NCAA tournament. And, Wright State wasn't even the projected top team in our conference that year. Oh. So it's such a tough league all the way around. And we were actually lucky enough that we swept Wright State at home last year and earned that opportunity, so we showed glimpses of it. But through that COVID year, it was very tough to instill our culture within our team. When you practice a little bit, you get shut down. You practice a little bit, you get shut down. And so this year we've really had that opportunity to focus more on instilling who we are. And like I said, we have an extremely young team with 8 newcomers. And each day there's some growing pains, but we always talk about putting a brick on our foundation. Not looking at the product, but really focusing on the process that we're putting into it. And understanding that it's a day-by-day process. You may not get the wins that you expect in each game, but can you truly look at it and say, hey, we improved today, we put our best foot forward, and that's something we value on a day-to-day basis.
I know you're headed back out on the road tomorrow. You'll be at Fort Wayne, and then on Sunday you play at Cleveland State. I know you just got back off of the road, and it wasn't the nicest of trips because you had to fly through a blizzard and wait on the tarmac for a while, but you fell at Milwaukee and Green Bay. Let's talk about the experience of going on the road and trying to settle young people down when these plane trips are so hairy at this time of the year with all this crazy weather going on.
Yeah, and it's been our first real extended road trip that we had since actually November. Mm-hmm. So it was unique getting our luggage out, getting our duffel bags out, getting ready for it, and then to be thrown into a blizzard. They responded really well. They kept an upbeat attitude the whole way through. But when you're in conference and you go on the road, you have to really play a consistent game for 4 quarters. And even then, you're not guaranteed that opportunity to win. And you face 2 good teams like Milwaukee and Green Bay. They teach you that pretty quick, that any mistake, any lapses that you have, they're going to take advantage of. And we always talk about they taught us some lessons. They gave us opportunities to learn.
Scott, what's this coming weekend going to look like? What are the chances for the Colonial women's team at Fort Wayne and then at Cleveland?
We're really excited about it. We've had a couple great days of practice so far. The team's really, really excited and energetic for it. I know we're ready to go out there and prove what we've put into our process and what we've done. And it's something that, we never know what the final score is going to be, but when we work hard and we make sure that our practices are harder than the games, we put ourselves in a good position to be successful.
All right, from student assistant to graduate assistant to assistant coach to associate head coach and now to acting head coach, Scott Schneider with us talking about Robert Morris University women's basketball. I have one final question for you. I know that you and your wife Dee recently had a son, Theodore. Can he hoop yet? I mean, does he have the ball in his hands? Did you give him the Nerf basketball yet or anything?
We've given him basketball. He's more interested in garbage trucks right now. So Friday mornings are always an exciting day for him. He's at the front door waiting for the garbage truck to come around. And excitingly enough that you brought that up, my wife's actually expecting her second. We're expecting our second child come July. So
congratulations.
We're hoping to build that team up and get Theodore into basketball and then start rolling into the next child with basketball too.
Well, if he's impressed with a garbage truck, he may be an engineer someday. You never know because his mind is being real creative, trying to figure out how that garbage truck works, I'm sure.
He's 2 years old right now, and he knows what the hopper is. He knows where the arm is at. He knows where the cab is at. He has garbage truck books. He's actually taught me more about garbage trucks than I've ever known. So it's every day is a unique day in the Schneider household.
Well, a closing story for you very very quickly. My brother Tim is 4 years younger than me. He is a very highly successful engineer in his own right these days, but one time we couldn't find him anywhere, and he had followed the garbage truck down the street. So Theodore has a shot. Theodore has a shot at success.
That may be him.
Scott, thank you so much for joining us on the Bobby Moe Show. It's been a pleasure, and good luck this weekend and the rest of the season.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
Bobby Moe Show continues next right here. Don't go away. This winter, many families in our area are struggling to make ends meet and keep their homes warm. You can make a difference by making a donation to Dollar Energy Fund. Your contribution will be matched dollar for dollar by Dollar Energy Fund's utility partners, and 100% of all donations will be used to help local families maintain or restore basic utility services. No one should have to face a Pittsburgh winter in the cold. Help spread the warmth to your neighbors in need and donate today at dollarenergy.org. Support Dollar Energy Fund today and help your neighbors in need stay warm this winter. Find out how a small contribution can score big with those in need. Visit dollarenergyfund.org or text WARM, W-A-R-M, to 53555. That's the word WARM, W-A-R-M, to 53555. All right, let's take a look ahead for the Colonials this week. First of all, women's track and field will be at the Doug Raymond National Qualifier. That'll be held at Kent State University this weekend. Softball opens up a 3-game series at North Carolina A&T. Men's lacrosse, they lost 21-12 in their opener at Duke last Friday. Their home opener is on Saturday. They'll take on the Bison of Bucknell at Joe Walton Stadium at 1 o'clock. As far as men's basketball is concerned, they dropped one at UIC last week, 80-75, but beat IUPUI over the weekend, 66-49. So they've restarted that win streak. Let's see if they can make it a couple in a row here. On Friday, they'll host Oakland at 7 o'clock, and then Sunday they'll be at Youngstown State just across the border at noon versus the Penguins. Women's basketball, as we were talking to Scott Schneider, they lost their last two at Milwaukee and Green Bay, but they open up a road trip against Fort Wayne on Friday. They'll be at Cleveland State on Sunday. And that'll do it for the Bobby Moe Show. I'm Chris Shovlin. Dylan Thompson's our producer. The Bobby Moe Show this week, again, sponsored by Dollar Energy Fund. We'll talk to you next time.